Alright, so today we're going to talk about this Craftsman electric sweeper. So here are a few of the toys that I've been using to clean my leaves. In my ever-ending quest to find the easiest way to remove leaves from our yard, I've been trying all kinds of different machines here. So let's take a look at the Craftsman. I'm going to show you a video of it in action in a few minutes. Let you take a look at it here. There's a motor here, and it connects to your battery. It comes with these clamps. You can just clamp it on your battery. It comes with the wiring here with a switch. So I really like it. I tried one of their chain-driven sweepers and I kind of liked it, but I didn't like how the wheel sometimes jams up because the brushes are putting too much of a load on them. So that kind of tears up the yard when that happens. And I like to set the brushes kind of low because sometimes there's stuff that's really deep in the grass that I want to get out. And if I set the brush lower on the pull type ones, the brush won't turn sometimes because there's just not enough traction. So it comes with this nice hitch. It's got 5 different heights you can adjust there. It's got pins you can pull out. And here's the height adjuster. Basically you just pull this out and then you can move this lever up and down to adjust the height of the brushes. So I was reading some of the online reviews and people were saying that they were blowing fuses. So I mean, the only reason you'd be blowing fuses is because your brush is set too low and that would present too much of a load on the motor. So if that were to happen to me, I would just increase the fuse value because this is a really big motor, so it can handle a lot more than what the fuse is rated for. I just wanted to clarify that before you increase the value of your fuse, make sure there's nothing wrong with the motor. The manual says to run the brushes 3/4 of an inch above the ground, so if at that setting you're still blowing fuses, then there might be something wrong with your motor. If after you've determined that you do want to run your brushes lower than recommended, and you need to increase the value of the fuse because it's blowing, you'll want to make sure that the motor doesn't get too hot, and also check the temperature of your wiring to make sure it's not overheating as well. And you'll most likely want to increase the wire size. I'm going to be hooking up an ammeter to mine, so I'll let you know what I find. And another issue that people were saying was that they were running out of battery power and it couldn't do their whole yard. And I mean, if that's a problem, just get a bigger battery and mount it somewhere. I hooked up an ammeter to this motor, and with no load it draws about 9 amps. So let's take a look at this fuse here. So it's a standard automotive 30 amp fuse. So my original intention for this was to turn it into a yard vacuum. So basically what I planned to do was to attach it to the front of my lawn tractor here. And then I have a vacuum system similar to a cyclone rake. And I was going to run the hose from the vacuum all the way up to the front. And I wanted to mount it to the front because I like to be able to see what I'm doing and the results, and I just like watching it. It's just interesting to see what kind of stuff it brushes up. Maybe I'll attach the collection bin, the hopper to it, and I'll just use the cyclone rake part of it to just suck the leaves out of it while I'm using it. So yeah, I'm gonna experiment on a few different ways to do this, and we'll see what happens. So over here, I made this thing and I attached it to the front of the lawn tractor, and it's got 4 swivel wheels on it. Basically, I put that Craftsman or a similar type of vacuum on there, and it sucked through this opening, and it kind of worked better in reverse for some reason. But with the Craftsman, I'm still stuck with this tiny little collection bag. Way too small. It fills up like in no time, and it's so hard to empty, which is why I liked this vacuum, because it uses a standard Rubbermaid trash can. All you have to do is just go like that, and you can just pull the bin out and just dump it. So yeah, it's just a Rubbermaid trash can. And the cool thing about this unit is that not only does it have a vacuum in the front, it's got this beater bar contraption with this shredder action going here. But even with this bin, it still holds about maybe, it's a 28-gallon bin, so it's not that much bigger, if any bigger than that bag on that vacuum. It's a great vacuum if it were easier to empty, but with this tow behind, it's actually a DR vacuum that I have. With the DR, it's got a huge bin on the back, so I want to be able to finish my yard without stopping so many times. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'll try my best to reply, and I'll make an update video on my project here. Oh, I tried to improve the performance of the DR vac by mounting this piece of plywood on my mower deck. I made a little slot under there because what was happening was leaves were still spraying out from the side of it. I had gotten the DR hoping that with that added gas-powered vacuum on it that it would suck the leaves and stop them from blowing out from under the deck. And it stopped it from this side where the discharge is. Oh yeah, here you can see what the slot looks like. The performance of it was okay, but the main issue I had was there just wasn't enough suction to get leaves that were wet and like really deep into the grass. And I think most vacuums with no beater brush will have that problem, because you just can't suck the leaves from that deep. That's why this brush on the Craftsman is so great, because it gets deep into the grass and it physically removes them. I think the sweeper is gonna finally solve all my problems. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. And just in case, if you're not familiar with the DR vacuum cyclone like I was mentioning, this is what it is. Basically, it has a huge collection bin and a vacuum that's powered by this engine